Hey friends, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, where today I am going to show you step by step how to crochet this cozy, chunky cocoonigan. So I am thrilled about the response to this cocoonigan of my video that I posted last week, and by popular demand I have created a little mini one that I made an entire step-by-step photo tutorial for, so that you can make yourself a full-size cozy chunky cocoonigan just like this one. So in today's tutorial, I am going to walk you through exactly how it is that we make the Alpine stitch from start to finish. I am going to show you how it is we attach our yarn to create the cuffs after we seam together our triangle, and I am going to show you how we create the body ribbing on the cocoonigan just like this one. So today's tutorial is super easy, super simple, and it is going to walk you through the whole entire thing. The only thing that you're going to have to do is click the link below to head on over to the blog post. Make sure you write down your total number of stitches for the size that you want for the foundation row that you will start with, and the total number of stitches, rows, for the size that you are going to be making. That's all you have to know, and then you can make this entire cozy cocoonigan. So I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. I hope that you find it helpful, and thank you guys so much. Let's get making. Okay, so to make this cozy cocoon cardigan, what I used was You and Me from Lion Brand, which is a bulky number 5 weight yarn. Each of these skeins is 4.4 ounces, and the recommended hook is a 6.5 millimeter. However, for this pattern, what we will be using is a 12 millimeter hook for the body and the collar, and then we switch to an 8 millimeter hook for the cuffs. This pattern is designed in 3 sizes. It's designed in petite, standard, and plus. The standard size is basically a one size fits most, whereas petite would be for somebody who is a little bit shorter, say maybe 5'2" and under, and plus is for somebody who is on the taller side, say, I don't know, 5'10" or more. Visit the blog post, which is linked in the description below, to read more about the different size ranges that I created for this pattern and choose which one will be the best one for you to make. For today's tutorial, I am not going to be making an entire cardigan in a full size. I am actually going to be making a mini. That will allow me to show you how it is that we make the foundation double crochet that we start with, how to create the Alpine stitch, how to seam together our body panel to attach the cuffs, and then how we attach the collar ribbing that goes around the entire body. Please make sure to head on over to the blog post so that this way you can note down the proper number of stitches that you need to start with for your body, and also the proper number of rows that you will need to create. Again, for the purpose of this tutorial, I am only making a mini cocoonigan, which will be more than enough to show you step by step how it is that we make the entire full-size cocoonigan. My sample was made using the color Desert as the main color and the color Shadow as the contrasting or secondary color. However, I do not have enough of Desert to show you this tutorial in this color, so I will be switching it up, and this tutorial I will use Toast for my main color. So let's get started making our cocoonigan. To work the Alpine stitch, you need to work over an odd number of stitches. So you're going to have to go over to the blog post pattern and figure out which size you're going to be making, and follow the row 1 instructions for the correct number of stitches that you will need to create. For the purpose of this tutorial, I am going to be making a mini version, but I will show you step by step how it is that we create the entire cocoonigan. So to start, I am going to create a foundation double crochet. To create a foundation double crochet, what we need to do is first create a slip knot, put it on our hook, and then we have to chain 4. We then will yarn over, place our hook in that first chain, yarn over, pull up one loop. So we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 1. That is creating the base of the foundation double crochet. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again. That creates our first foundation double crochet. We will then yarn over and come back to this base chain that we created. Insert our hook, yarn over, pull up 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2 again, creating our second foundation double crochet. Yarn over, insert your hook into the base that we just created, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That creates our next foundation double crochet. We are going to keep repeating that. Again, you are going to have to reference the pattern. The link is below in the description for the correct number of foundation double crochet stitches that you will need to make for your cocoonigan. Based upon the size that you choose, there are 3 available: petite, standard, and plus. Again, petite is for somebody who is on the shorter side. The standard is for basically a one size fits most, and the plus would be for someone who is quite a bit taller than average. So I'm going to go ahead and keep creating some of these foundation double crochet stitches so that this way I can make a mini body panel to show you how to create the Alpine stitch. So I have created here 18 foundation double crochet stitches. I'm going to create one more for a total of 19 so that I have an odd number, and I am going to show you how it is that we will be changing colors within this pattern. So again, to create my final foundation double crochet, I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into the bottom here. So if you flip over the foundation double crochet, you can see that the bottom looks identical to the top. So that is where you are picking up all of your stitches if you're having trouble seeing them. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull up 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Now instead of yarning over and pulling through these last 2, what I'm going to do is I'm going to yarn over with my main color, and then I am going to come here and grab my contrasting or secondary color, and I am going to also place that over my hook. I'm going to make sure I hold them tight so nothing slips, and I'm going to pull both of those colors through my last 2 loops. We are now going to move on to row 2, and now what we're going to do is, using our contrasting color, we are going to yarn over and chain 1. I'm now going to turn, and I am not carrying my main color across. I'm going to leave that there loose, and what I will do is I'm going to single crochet across in every stitch. In my case, it's a total of 19 stitches. Again, you need to reference the pattern for the correct number of stitches for the size that you are choosing to make. To make a single crochet, if that's something you're not familiar with, what you have to do is insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2, and that creates your single crochet. So again, single crochet across in each stitch. Also, right now would be a good time for you to cut your yarn, because when you are working on a big panel, you don't want to be getting tangled up. For me, it doesn't matter so much because I'm working a smaller swatch, but take note that when you're working your full body panel, you want to cut that yarn so that you're not getting all twisted up while you are working your cocoonigan. I am coming to my last stitch in row 2. I am going to again insert my hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop, and we have to switch colors back to our main color. So what we will do is yarn over with the color we are using, our contrasting color, place our main color back over our hook and pull that through both of these loops. Again, come here and cut your contrasting color. We are then going to move on to the row 3 instructions, which are using the main color. We are going to chain 2, turn, double crochet in the first stitch, and then we have to front post treble crochet in the second stitch. So you skip this first foundation double crochet below, and in the second foundation double crochet, what we need to do is create a front post treble crochet. So to create a treble crochet, what you need to do is you yarn over your hook twice. Insert your hook from front to back to front, yarn over, pull up another loop on your hook so that now you'll have 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2 again. That creates your treble. So a treble is longer than a double, but when you have your double and your treble next to each other, but your treble is worked in the row below, that then makes it so that the top of your stitches will end up being the same height. You then have to skip the single crochet behind because this counts it as worked, and then you create a double crochet in the next single crochet of row 2. You will then repeat that all the way across, creating a treble crochet in every other stitch, making sure that you are skipping the single crochet behind and placing a double crochet in the next. That is the repeat for row 3. It's very, very simple. I will show you one more time. You double crochet, treble crochet in the next, yarn over twice, come down into this front post double crochet, work from front to back to front to pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 to complete your treble. Make sure you skip the single crochet behind, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch to create a double crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and you're going to repeat that all the way to the end. Again, make sure you reference how many stitches you will need in the free pattern that is linked in the description below. So here I come to my last 2 stitches of row 3. So I'm ending with a treble, skipping this single crochet, and we will place a double crochet in this final stitch. Now again, we have to change colors, so we're only going to partially complete the double crochet, place our main color over our hook, come back, grab our contrasting color, pull through these last 2 loops, cut our main color, chain 1 with our contrasting color, turn, and single crochet all the way across, and that is row 4 in the pattern. All even number rows in the body of this pattern are just single crochet, super simple, nothing difficult about that row. Once you get a few rows of the Alpine stitch, which is made by using the double crochets and the front post treble crochets, it gets really simple to see what you're doing, and you're not even going to have to really follow the pattern. You're just going to have to make sure that you keep track of your row count so that this way you know when to stop when you've made your entire body panel. So I'm coming here to the end of row 4. I'm going to place my last stitch again. I'm not going to complete it. I'm going to yarn over, grab my main color, pull through both loops, cut my contrasting color, and I'm now going to show you row 5 in the repeat, which is the final row in the repeat. So to do row 5, what we will do is with our main color, we are going to yarn over and chain 2, turn, and on this row, we will start with 2 double crochets. And what that does is it works 1 double crochet over the first double crochet of row 3, and it works a 7 double crochet over the treble crochet of row 3. Now we will be working in the double crochets of row 3 by placing treble crochets in those stitches. So we double crochet 2, yarn over twice, come down to this second double crochet of row 3, insert our hook from front to back to front, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2 again. Skip the single crochet behind, and then place a double crochet in the next single crochet stitch. We are then going to repeat that all the way across, placing front post treble crochets in each double crochet of the previous row, and place a double crochet in each of the next single crochet stitches. Make sure that you are skipping the single crochet behind the front post double crochets that you are creating, because the front post treble crochets that you are creating, because the front post treble crochets count as a worked stitch within that row. So you have to make sure that you skip the single crochet behind, otherwise you are going to end up with extra stitches in your body panel rows, and then it's going to flare out, and that is not what we want, because we want one nice even rectangle that we will then seam together to make our big chunky cozy cocoon again. So I am completing my last front post treble crochet, skipping the single crochet behind, and then to end this row we have to end with 2 double crochet the same way that we started it. My final double crochet I am not going to complete with my main color. I am going to only partially complete the stitch, add my contrasting color on, pull through 2, cut my contrasting color, yarn over, create a chain, turn, and I'm going to single crochet across, which again is the same for every even numbered row within the body panel. This is now where the repeat begins. That is the entire repeat for the body panel. You are going to be repeating rows 2 through 5, alternating your main color and your contrasting color, again according to the pattern, which is linked in the description below. Make sure that you reference that to find out how many rows you will need to be completing for the size that you have chosen. I am going to keep going here with my mini rectangle, and I will pop back in once it is big enough to show you how we will seam it together to create the openings for the cuffs, and how we attach the cuffs, and how we attach the collar ribbing. Okay, so I have completed my little mini sample panel. What I'm going to do now is I am going to leave a long tail here, because I'm going to use this to seam up this one side. So leaving a long tail, I'm going to cut my yarn. And if you look in the pattern itself, I do have an assembly diagram in the pattern. So that is what we're looking at here, and how we assemble it. And all of this is written out nicely, but I'm going to walk you through how we do it right now. So I left myself a long tail, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to yarn over and pull this tail all the way through and tighten this to secure it. We need to flip over this panel so that the wrong side is facing up and the right side is facing down. So as I explained in the pattern, what we need to do is we need to fold our corners up and down so that we create a 45-degree angle like this. And the way that I describe it is as if you were making a paper airplane. If you remember ever making a paper airplane when you were a kid, and I do it all the time now with my boys, you would fold your corners together on your piece of paper and then you fold it up and you make your wings. We're just doing that first step where we are folding this down, and we are going to seam right here. Now I do have a ton of ends. You can weave these in as you go and work them into your rows while you are creating your panel if you would like, or you can try to pick them up while we seam in this sleeve. So first what we will do is we're going to take the tail that we left when we finished our body panel. We are going to thread it through our darning needle. This bulky yarn is always so hard to get through a darning needle, and I could use a larger darning needle, but I prefer a smaller one. I do like the ones that have the bent tip. I find that easier to seam with. They're great. I'm gonna pull my yarn through, not completely halfway because I don't wanna get my end tangled up, but just about halfway through. Again, make sure you fold these corners down, and then what we're gonna do is this will lay more flat on your panel because it's bigger. Because it's little, it keeps trying to pop over. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna come here and we are going to pick up this first stitch on this corner, and we will pull our corners together. Now, I'm not gonna go crazy trying to fix these ends because I'm just not worried about it right now, but take your time seaming to get those ends in, or weave them in before you seam so that this way they're not getting in your way. So what we're gonna do is we've got these two corners aligned and pulled together. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, because this is bulky yarn, it is extremely easy to create a seam and keep it hidden. I am going to do a kind of like a flat seam, which is basically I'm going to come back and forth through my stitches in a serpentine pattern, and make sure that we don't pinch anything, and that we keep the colors aligned so that it looks as seamless as possible. So if you could see, what I'm doing is I'm kind of picking up under these bars of the stitches that correspond to each other. Right now I'm coming here to a single crochet row, so I'm going to make sure that I pick up in a single crochet row on each side so that things stay lined up. And I'm going to do that until I have just a little hole left over here. Again, reference the pattern for the exact number of rows that you will leave open. On all of the sizes, you're leaving 13 rows unseamed, no matter which size you are making. For the purpose of this tutorial, I do not have 13 to leave open to show you, but I can tell you that it is 13. So I am just going to seam this little bit right here, and I'm gonna leave, let me do one more stitch to leave open. So this will be where I'm going to create the armhole. I'm going to come back again so that this way I can tighten this down a couple more times. I'm gonna pop this through, come into the back over here, and just tie this off. Okay, and so that is creating the first side and first arm opening. We are going to repeat that on this other side here. So again, folding it down like a paper airplane. I am going to, since I do not have a tail here, I am going to put my needle through this first or last stitch, whichever way you want to look at it. but the corner stitch. And then I am going to come down, right, folding them together. I am going to come down right here and put my needle through this corner stitch on the bottom. Oops. Okay, and sometimes what I like to do, if I have the tail that I am using to seam in plus the other tail, I like to tie these together to secure them so that this way my seam doesn't get pulled through while I'm seaming it together. Now I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the other side. Oop, I'm gonna pull some yarn back through my needle. Same thing that I did on the other side, making sure to align my rows. Now over here, because this is where we started the foundation double crochet, this is kind of long and stretched, so you're gonna want to pinch this down to make sure that the row 2 single crochet are lined up so that you'll end up with the correct number of rows left open, which should be 13 rows for your arm openings where we will create the cuffs. Again, I'm not trying to get all of my ends woven in while I do this because for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm not super concerned with it. This little mini thing will probably end up on one of the boys' stuffed animals, which will be super cute, but they don't need to have their ends completely woven in. Here we go. Making sure to align my row ends so that it's nice and neat. Leaving this open. Again, in the pattern, it's going to be 13 rows. I will show you how to count that. Give me a moment. I'm going to tie this off. I don't need to cut this, but I'm going to cut it. Okay, so to count your row ends that are open, what you're going to do is you count like this, right? So these are seamed. This is open. So we count around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I left open 8 row ends unseamed. So you count all the way around the opening. It's not just one side, it's all the way around for a total of 13 when you're making the full-sized piece. So as you can see here, this is starting to take shape. And the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to do the cuffs. Now for the cuffs, this is the only part in the pattern that you have to jump down a hook size. The reason for that is because I want to make sure that the cuffs have enough structure that they keep the bulk of this on your body. So we jump down a hook so that the cuffs are more stretchy and springy and they're not as loose as the collar. So using the main color, what you're going to do is, let me put all these in. I'm going to tuck all my ends in so that they're not really in my way. Using the main color, you are going to reattach your yarn anywhere that you choose in the arm opening that we created, okay? So reattach it wherever you want. Put your hook, the 8mm, put your hook into a row end, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through, okay? Pull that nice and snug. Single crochet evenly around in the row ends, okay? And for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm gonna have a different number of stitches, but in the pattern, you should be able to do 26 stitches around in your armhole opening to create your cuff. So be very mindful of your tension when you do this and your stitch placement. Pattern at this point is written to use an even number of stitches for the repeat, so I just want to make sure that I end with an even number. So let me place another one here, and then I'm going to go back and count to see how many I managed to get. 16 single crochet around my little mini cuff right here. Now you need to slip stitch to join to your first single crochet. So you do that by inserting your hook, yarning over, pulling through one loop, and then pull that one loop through the loop on your hook. That creates a slip stitch. That is round 1 of your cuffs. You then have to chain 2, turn, and place a double crochet in each stitch all the way around for round 2. So I've just placed my last double crochet, and I am going to slip stitch to join to my first double crochet of that round, chain 2, turn, and this is now round 3, and this is the round you will continue repeating for the entirety of creating your cuffs. And what we need to do here is we are going to be creating a front post double crochet in this first stitch. So again, to do that, you yarn over, insert your hook from front to back to front, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That creates your first front post double crochet, and then we will create a back post double crochet around the next stitch. So to do that, you have to yarn over, insert your hook from back to front to back, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and you are going to continue creating your front post and back post double crochet, alternating them all the way around to create the cuff ribbing. So again, for a front post double crochet, you yarn over, insert your hook from front to back to front, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. For a back post, yarn over, insert your hook from back to front to back, working around that post, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Keep repeating that until you get to the beginning of your cuff, where you will then again slip stitch to join to your first stitch. So here I come to my last stitch. I'm going to create my final back post double crochet, slip stitch to join to my first stitch, which was the front post double crochet, chain 2, turn, and I'm going to repeat that row. So now I am able to work a front post double crochet around the last back post double crochet that I created, which essentially now looks like a front post double crochet because I am working in the opposite direction. This is what gives the ribbing effect on the cuffs. You can add or subtract as many rounds, as you would like if you want your cuffs to be longer or shorter. Same thing with the collar. You could add or reduce any number of rounds you would like to make it thicker or thinner. So I'm just going to complete this last round of front and back post double crochet. Make sure you reference the pattern that is linked below in the description for the amount of rounds that I recommend for the cuffs. But again, for this little mini cocoonigan, I'm not going to do all of them because proportionally it just won't look proper on this cocoonigan. So I'm going to come here, slip stitch to join. I am going to cut my yarn, yarn over, pull this through, and then I will weave in this end later. But that is the first cuff. It looks a little disproportional for the cocoonigan, but it's still cute. So I'm going to repeat that on the other end, and now I will show you how we create the collar trim. For the body trim, we are jumping back to our 12mm hook that we made the body in, just the same way that we worked the cuff ribbing to do the body ribbing. Our round 1 is done by using the main color. So we will attach our yarn into one of these single crochet around the body, pull this nice and tight, and we are going to single crochet in each single crochet around, because for the body here, right, you've got the base of the foundation double crochet that we created, and the last row repeat, which consisted of front post, trebles, and double crochets. So here it's really easy to see all of your stitches, whereas on the cuffs you were using row ends. Here you actually have stitches. You just need to make sure that you skip the side seam. That is not going to count as a stitch. So you will use each single crochet, each single crochet will be placed in an actual stitch, and just again make sure that you skip the side seams. Okay, so I'm coming around to my final stitch. I'm going to place my last single crochet, skip this side seam, slip stitch to join to my first single crochet, and that completes round 1 of the body trim. I am going to chain 2, turn, and move on to round 2, which is the same as in the cuffs, and I'm going to place a double crochet in each stitch around. Okay, so I'm coming to my last double crochet stitch for round 2. I'm going to slip stitch to join to my first double crochet, and for round 3 it is the same as what we did on the cuff. I'm going to chain 2, turn, place a front post double crochet in my first stitch, place a back post double crochet in my second stitch, and I am going to keep alternating front post and back post double crochet stitches all the way around until I reach the beginning of this round slip stitch to join, and then we continue to keep repeating those for the remaining rounds on the body trim. So I'm coming here to my last back post double crochet. I am going to slip stitch to join in my first stitch, and instead of continuing with this, repeat, I'm going to cut here because my little cocoon again has closed up. But you would continue repeating your back post and front post double crochet rounds. I'm going to weave in that end. Look how cute it is. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm gonna go make another cuff, and I will pop back in when I am done. All right, I just finished up the other cuff. Look at how cute this is. I mean, it's disproportionate a little bit, but hey, it gets the point across. It helps you guys to understand how it is that we turned a simple rectangle into an amazing, cozy, chunky cocoon again. So I hope that you guys found this helpful. Please make sure to like and subscribe so that this way you do not miss my next tutorial and any of my other free patterns that I have coming out. I have a ton coming that I promise you guys are going to love. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for the response on this pattern. Again, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy your day.